Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Sunday, August 16th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Ball State game in 20 days, the game against Michigan in 104 days. Thanks to our friends at Jeff Ruby's Columbus, proudly offering nationally acclaimed USDA prime steaks, seafood and sushi, impeccable service, live entertainment, and an attention to detail that is simply unmatched. Just go to jeffruby.com/Columbus to check out the menu and make a reservation today. All right, I'm joined by Tony Gerdeman of BuckeyeInsiders.com here on campus, just outside the North Rotunda of Ohio Stadium. You're here for a Ryan Day press conference and figured, what the heck, it feels a little like fall. It's gray and overcast like a proper Ohio State football game day. And so, all right, we're going to go over to the stadium and do a quick show. I want to talk about the running backs on today's show because that was one of the more interesting. There was a lot of interesting stuff out of that Ryan Day press conference on Saturday. But I thought the running backs were really interesting because you've heard all sorts of different names at different times during the course of the year as this has sort of played out, and there's been a ton of Isaiah West buzz this fall coming from on the record, off the record, in the program, outside of the program. Like, you're just hearing it from everyone. And then Ryan Day was asked about the running backs, and Isaiah West was not the person that he was the most effervescent about.
Yeah, I could not say enough good things about Bo Jackson, and I think that was good for Ohio State fans to hear after so much talk about Legend Bey and Isaiah West. It's like, oh, don't forget about the guy who rushed for 1,000 yards and led the team last year. And it was very matter of fact, like, Bo's doing great. Also Isaiah West and, Jacoby Jackson are doing well also. But, like, the way he was talking, it's like Bo Jackson, then there's everybody else. That was just the way it seemed, the way he spoke today. And I think one of the things he talked about was Bo's vision, the second level being the biggest difference. Last year, that was a problem area where you get into the second level and then you get tackled. He said, I put a lot of pressure on Bo and I put a lot of pressure on Carlos Lachlan to make sure that second level is a dangerous thing for Ohio State this year. And it sounds like those are the areas where Bo Jackson is really standing out, which is the areas where he focused on in the offseason and wanted to make happen this year.
Well, and you sort of assumed he would be better in some of those areas, just maybe a little quicker, maybe a little stronger. Getting thrown in there as a true freshman last year, you didn't have that full year with Coach Mick in the weight room. You were not used to playing that many games, that many snaps against that level of competition by the end of the season. He was banged up and had some cleanup surgery. Isaiah West was banged up and had some cleanup surgery. This time of year, you figure you're probably this is about as healthy as you're going to be throughout the course of the year. So it makes sense. And I thought it was interesting. Ryan Day, his attitude is essentially, I don't care how you do it. You just got to do it. You can run through guys. You can run around guys. Whatever it is, all I care about is the results.
Yeah, like I'm not telling you to do this or do that. You've got your options. You can do it however you want to do it. Just get it done. And Bo Jackson has added weight, added strength, added just the overall quickness from being further removed from the injury. So he has more ways of doing things. Also just the anticipation, the experience, setting guys up, and just being longer in the body of this running back that he is. All of that helps him to do those sorts of things. So really, really positive stuff from Ryan Day about Bo Jackson today.
There's another Jackson in that room who there was a lot of positive about as well, and that's Jacoby Jackson. And he's in a little bit of a different category than some of the other guys, where he's a veteran, but he's not an Ohio State veteran. He's new to Ohio State, but definitely not new at all to the college football thing on the whole. It feels like he's going to maybe have more of a role than people might think.
Well, and he's a seventh-year guy who I believe spent 3 years in at least 2 years in junior college. And Tom, the fun thing is, since those junior college years sometimes don't matter, like theoretically, until this whole age-based model came about, like if he wanted to play 9 years, there's a road there that would not be unprecedented. I don't think that's going to be happening at Ohio State, and I don't know that they've ever had a 32-year-old running back except for maybe post-World War II. But let's digress. A very good scrimmage today, according to Ryan Day, for Jacoby Jackson, who has, we've talked about just really innate running instincts, can catch the ball, is comfortable doing different things, has the experience of being pass protector, those sorts of things, is not the one, not the singular replacement for C.J. Donaldson. It's like he's not the new C.J. Donaldson. He is the first Jacoby Jackson, basically. Now, Ryan Day talked about the three of them, Bo Jackson, Isaiah West, and Jacoby Jackson, as that's the three, but there's still another name in there.
There is another name, and I'm sure everyone's going, well, Legend Bey. Talk about Legend Bey. I'm excited about Legend Bey. Yeah, I think a lot of people are still excited about Legend Bey. But it sounds like, I think we went into the fall thinking Legend Bey will give them a big playability that they might not have anywhere else. Mm-hmm. If Bo Jackson can check some of that box for you, that helps. You would obviously prefer to have lots of people who can do that for you. I still think Legend Bey gives them something that they can't necessarily get anywhere else. But it also feels like they're trying to make sure that Legend Bey is really ready and really is all the not exciting stuff. Mm-hmm. He does all the exciting stuff already. It feels like this is one of these cases where they're waiting for all the not exciting stuff, just the real nitty-gritty stuff that football coaches obsess over, that fans are kind of like, but he's fun. Why don't you let him do the fun stuff? They're not going to let him skip that step.
It's pre-flight checklist, where you got to go through all of the binders, and before you can get up there and fly the fun plane, you've got to make sure everything is ready to go and that everything is safe and secure. And the safe and secure is the football, that aspect of it, and just knowing the offense. But yeah, more than anything, as a true freshman who is still learning the position, he's a natural runner, but he was a quarterback in high school, option quarterback, so he did a lot of running. But still, there's a difference between giving the ball and taking the ball, those sorts of things, just the fundamentals of it. And so there's just that sort of stuff that he's still learning. And as Ryan Day said, as long as he continues to progress, he's going to play, but he's not just saying he's progressed. Like, he's in. It's trying not to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. They clearly have plans for him to play. We see him early when we're watching practice. But you also know that before that happens, he's got to make sure he continues to take care of the football, take care of his business, and just be a trustworthy player. And that's really the crux of it. All of the natural ability is there. As you said, it's the boring stuff that coaches obsess over that will determine his playing time.
Something else he was doing on Saturday was working as a punt returner. That was not something that Ryan Day talked about, but that was something that our members at Buckeye Insiders heard about on our Insiders board. Have some reports from inside practice that we could share with you. Lots of stuff that we talk about there that we don't generally talk about on these podcasts. So if you want to know all the stuff that happened inside practice, there was an offensive player who we have not talked about, a veteran offensive player who we have not talked about a lot this fall, who had a very good practice from what we were hearing, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. You can find that at BuckeyeInsiders.com. Just click on the Insiders board. You do have to be a member to get onto the Insiders board, but that's where the most we can share more there than we can generally share publicly. So if you want to check that out, we would love to see you there as a member at BuckeyeInsiders.com. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to our channel. We just did a live stream of that Ryan Day press conference, first live stream that we've done for the this season, as we're sort of starting to roll out the new channel. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that bell as well so you get notified, because there's going to be a lot more live stuff coming for you as situations and circumstances permit, depending on when and where those interviews are set up. But we'll do as much of that as we can. And of course, the season is coming very close, 20 days away, as I said off the top of the show. Lots of coverage coming for you all month long, all season long at BuckeyeInsiders.com and at YouTube.com/@BuckeyeInsiders. And thanks again to our sponsors, Jeff Ruby's of Columbus, the award-winning upscale steakhouse at downtown Columbus, named one of the top 50 steakhouses in America by Food Network. Just go to jeffruby.com/Columbus to check out the menu and make a reservation today. That will do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.